In terms of again reliability, okay, that would be risky. So make sure that you have just one correct answer. ใช่ไหมครับบางทีถ้าเราไม่ไพลอตเราจะไม่รู้ถ้าเราสร้างเทสมันเดี๋ยวก็สร้างโอเคมันถูกมันโอเคละเราเห็นว่าข้อ choice นี้ถูกที่เหลือผิด But you know when you pilot it, you know actually it's not like that. And so multiple choice items usually have at least 3 incorrect options, 3 distractors at least. So here you have 4 for Gen 8. And maybe we focus on the red lines. Alright, so the common mistake when designing multiple choice question is to write the correct option with more elaboration or detail or using more words. Does it happen here? Or does it happen to you sometimes? You know, when you write the options, the correct option is usually longer than the distractors. Why? So the distractors are shorter, right? Because you don't know what to write. Okay? But then you know the answer. You're preparing the correct answer, so you know what the answer is, so you write longer. Okay, so that's noticeable to students. So then they can guess, right? Okay, this is the correct answer because it's so elaborate, it's so clear. ใช่ไหมฮะก็คือเราต้องทำให้ choice เนี่ยมันใกล้ๆกันความยาว word limit should be quite the same. And you know when you write these factors, make sure that they are plausible, but clearly wrong. Plausible means possible. Okay. คือทำให้ distractor เนี่ยมันอ่านแล้วมันเป็นไปได้แต่จริงๆมันผิดไม่ใช่ว่าผิดแบบผิดตะเลิดเปิงหรือว่ามันความหมายมันไม่ใช่หรือมันไม่เกี่ยว so you know if the distractors are irrelevant or completely wrong then it will be again noticeable to the students that they can guess so then we cannot if the students can guess the test is not reliable right? Because we do not really know what the students know. And ensure that the correct choices or distractors appear to be possibly correct. เพราะฉะนั้น incorrect choice เนี่ยที่เป็น distractors มันก็อาจจะแค่ possibly correct แต่มันไม่ correct. So we have to know what the students will think about in terms of correct and incorrect answer. ปกติเราก็ต้องใส่ choice ที่เราคิดว่าถ้าเด็กนักศึกษาจะตอบข้อนี้เขาจะคิดอย่างไรบ้างซึ่งอันนี้มาจากประสบการณ์ถูกไหมฮะเราจะไม่รู้ว่าคนนักศึกษาเนี่ยจะตอบว่าอะไรถ้าเราไม่รู้มาก่อนเราไม่เคยสอนหรือว่าเราสอนมาน้อยประสบการณ์เราจะไม่รู้ว่าเขาจะคิดในคำตอบอย่างไรเพราะฉะนั้นช้อยเราก็จะไปแบบตามจินตนาการของเราใช่ไหมฮะ Okay, the red line. Each alternative should be used as the correct answer about the same number of times. This is what you also include in your test specification.That means, you know, the number of times, like the options, okay, the A, B, C, D, okay, they should be about the same number. นับไหมฮะอาจารย์นับไหม When you prepare a test, multiple choice test, A กี่ข้อ B กี่ข้อ C กี่ข้อ D กี่ข้อ That's what we should do. I'm preparing a test now, and I have to check all the time. Do the tallying, how many A's now, how many B's now.So that you know they will have the equal number to prevent student guessing, right? Because you see, for example, have you noticed that when we prepare the test, multiple choice test in particular, usually choice A is correct 90% of the time. When we prepare the test, multiple choice test, usually we put the correct answer in choice A because we know the answer. เราต้องจะพิมพ์ไปก่อนว่านี่คือคำตอบถูกไหมฮะแล้วเราก็ B, C, D, distractors.Right, and you know if you do not move around the distractors and the correct answer, then most of the answer would be A. Or some teachers love C, letter C. They put most of the correct answer in C's. That's also risky, okay, in terms of reliability. Okay, and you know if the student can guess like okay many A's now are correct answer, they will know that okay in the following items.The correct answers would be A again. So these are, you know, the keys, okay, to effective testing. So we should make sure that all the major components of the course, you know, are included. So think about the objectives. Okay, what's the goal of the instruction? Okay, what the student should be able to do or know as a result of taking the course, and the cognitive level of performance expected. Okay.ก็คือต้องรู้ว่าวัตถุประสงค์คืออะไรในการ สอนใช่ไหมฮะเราจะเทสนักเรียนหรือนักศึกษานะฮะเราต้องการจะรู้ใช่ไหมครับว่าเขารู้อะไรเกี่ยวกับคอร์สที่เราสอนนะฮะและสุดท้ายก็คือเป็นเรื่องของวัตถุประสงค์ที่ต้องบอก cognitive levels ก็หมายถึงว่าปกติจะมีอยู่3 level okay you can see in the brackets basic knowledge level deeper comprehension level application level knowledge ก็คือความรู้ใช่ไหมฮะ comprehension คือเข้าใจแล้ว application ก็คือนำไปใช้ so there are usually 3 levels of cognitive levels of performance อันนี้ก็เป็นสิ่งที่สทศนะฮะหรือว่า testing center national testing center they're using right this scale also okay when they prepare the test okay so when they have examiners preparing the test they will focus on this ก็จะมี3ระดับความรู้ความเข้าใจนำไปใช้ so which one is the hardest which one should be the most challenging application นำไปใช้นะหรือว่า creative sorry creating yes you mean creativity or creating the test creativity so the creativity would be might be part of the application right maybe part of the application so if we talk about multiple choice test okay and so the instruction okay should be considered very carefully right when we prepare the test teaching instruction here means teaching okay? and assessment คือการวัดผล okay so this is the process of gathering information so we know about students ability and evaluation here right evaluation is ประเมินผล assessment วัดผล evaluation ประเมินผล so that we examine the performance and compare judging its quality so we can determine whether or not the learner has met the course objectives and how well so that means evaluation is kind of the end product so we know what students have learned what do they know okay but assessment kind of process of gathering and describing the information that we receive from the test so there's a difference between assessment and evaluation so the test blueprint should be prepared carefully something like this okay you have something like this you can have your own type of blueprint okay so that you can distribute all levels of students performance right knowledge comprehension application and actually the more challenging levels would be analysis synthesis evaluation okay. This is also the scale used by the national testing centers also there are some hints when you prepare the test okay when you ask the question the information being asked should not be too trivial like reading comprehension what should we ask first what should be the first question in the reading comprehension test for every passage should be what does he refer to what does this word mean that's trivial sometimes trivial means trivial students what trivial means คือมันเล็กๆน้อยๆนะฮะมันไม่สำคัญเพราะฉะนั้นคำถามแรกที่ควรจะถามของทุก passage for every passage the first question should be the global comprehension that is the main idea the main idea should be the main idea question should be the first question for every reading passage so that we understand how students understand right the text in general so we start from something more general if you start the first question with the detail it might not be appropriate okay because you don't have to start scanning so naturally when we read we start from skimming right and then we move on to scanning so skimming should come first so that when we make the question the main idea question should come first and then details but when we think about the details should be relevant and important details not trivial unimportant details okay so how should we do that then how should we develop this skill we need to be good reader first if you are not good reader you cannot prepare a reading test well right so you need to be a critical reader so that you know what the text is about right and so you then know right what you should ask in the test and then maybe the fourth point test only a single idea in each item okay don't ask too many points in each item แต่ละข้อถามประเด็นเดียวนะฮะ the first point here on this slide, incorporate common errors of student instructors. So that, from our experience, from our observation, what kinds of error the student make, okay, if when they perform. So you include those in the distractors. เราก็ต้องเอามาจากประสบการณ์ที่เราสอนใช่ไหมว่านักศึกษาชอบเขียนเป็นอย่างนี้บ่อยๆเอานั่นแหละมาสร้างเป็น distractor เป็นตัว choice มาถึงจะ practical แล้วก็ realistic นะฮะ and then the third point here, avoid overlapping alternatives. Sometimes the options overlap, and so the answer will not be there will not be only one correct answer. Then there will be two possible answers. Okay, so be careful with that. And again, the length of the response option should be about the same within each item, and usually concise. Don't make the distractors too long. Make them concise and easier to readable. Okay. And then the length should be the same for all the distractors. And there should not be grammatical clues to the correct answer, like for vocabulary. If you want to test the student on their understanding of the word interested, for example, interested, and you write a sentence, you write a stem, blah, 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 interested. Usually the word interested is followed by in, right? Interested in. So, if your stem says something like blah, blah, interest, and blank, and then in, and then in the choices, right? You have interested, you have annoyed, you have surprised, you have any other adjectives. But then students know that usually we say interested in. So that's a grammar clue that would help the student answer the questions, right? They don't have to understand the stem, they don't have to understand what interested mean, they just know we say interested in. Okay, this might be for students who are very grammatically conscious, right? Then they will be able to guess the answer. Okay, so if you want to test students on the use of the word interested in, maybe you have to put interested in as the correct answer, and then annoy with, right, surprise at, whatever. So the adjective and then the preposition will be included in the choices. And usually, we should format the items vertically for the readability. So what is the format here? Is it like left, right? Or is it vertical? Horizontal or vertical? 1, 2, 3, 4, like this. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. Left, right. To save the paper. Right? Okay, that's it. Yeah. Okay, to save the world, right? Save the trees. That's understandable. But if you do it online, if you have online test, vertical will be easier. Actually, vertical format is easier to access. Okay. And the response option should be indented in column form. So this would be helpful for the students when they read the question. Again, right? Avoid the use of not and except if not possible. Right? Don't use them. If possible, don't use them. Okay. What about the last choice which says all of the above? You like that? Because you see, 4 choices. The last choice you don't have any more idea. Right? So all of the above is easy. And if you have 5 choices here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. All of the above. No more ideas to prepare. So you have lots of all of the above here, and sometimes none of the above, right? So don't use them. If you have to use them, it's okay, but restrict their use, right? All of the above and none of the above, because it would be easy to guess. Because for the 4 choice, right? The 4 choice test, if the student know only two correct answer, they can guess the answer immediately that the answer would be all of the above. Is that right? รู้แค่2ก็ตอบได้ละ None of the above รู้แค่2ก็ตอบได้ละ Right? They know. And for your 5 choice items, right? If the student know just 1 or 2 and you have all of the above in the 5th choice, they know the answer. ใช่ไหมครับดู2ก็ตอบได้เลยมันไม่ได้วัด And another thing is when we use none of the above, we may know that the student do not know something is not correct. Student know what is not correct, but we do not know if the student know what is correct. Right? คือมัน none of the above ใช่ไหมฮะไม่ใช่แล้วตัวลงเด็กรู้ไหมว่าอะไรใช่รู้แต่ว่าไม่ใช่ So the purpose of using the none of the above might be unclear and unhelpful, right? Because we do not know what the students know about the subject. Okay, so that's the guidelines. All right, make sure that your format would be best answer or correct answer, best answer is sometimes safer because correct answer. Correct answer should be safer because that means that we focus on the correctness. If we say best answer, oh this is correct. This is also correct, but it's not best. Okay, it could be controversial, right? There could be some problems. You have any problems, when students want to know that answers, why do they receive the score like this? And this is correct answer, why not this one? And you say, oh, this is also correct, but it's not the best. Does it happen here? Sure, right? So that's why we should focus on the correct answer. If we have the best answer, and so you say, oh, this is correct, but it's not the best here, it might be harder to explain, right? At ธรรมศาสตร์ students protest, right? And they can put this on Facebook, right? complaining, criticizing, right? The test all the time. If they're not happy, with the scores or the grades they receive. Okay. Then, okay, you should have time, for editing and revising the test. Use good grammar, punctuation, spelling consistently. Even though students are weak at grammar or punctuation and other things, when we write the test, our sentence test, right, our question, should be standard, okay, in terms of writing. And use the active voice. You like active voice or you prefer passive voice? The voice. The voice now. You have to use either active or passive voice in every sentence, right? In any sentence. So maybe we prefer some instructors might prefer passive voice because they look high-so, right? They look very nice, beautiful, but passive voice is harder to understand, right? Particularly to students, right? So please use active voice and spare the use of passive voice only when it's necessary. Okay? And the ideal question, will be answered by 60 or 65% of the tested population. So, after the test, when we do the reliability, when we check the reliability, we have to make sure that, each test question, all right, will be answered by 60 to 65% of the population. Then the test is good, question is good. That means, if there are more wrong answer or there are more right answer, it's not good. Okay. And have your questions peer reviewed to ensure face validity. Okay. And again, right, don't make the correct answer too long. The second point here, this is quite interesting. So keep the vocab consistent with the examiner's level of understanding. So we have to keep in mind, okay, what student's level is, so that when we make the test, when we prepare the questions, the level of vocabulary, right, should match the student ability. Don't use too difficult words or not too easy. And avoid, third point, avoid queuing one item with another. Keep items independent of one another. Okay, that means maybe one question, all right, would help student answer another question. If you include the vocabulary, for example, if you want to test a student on vocabulary in a certain item, and then in the following item, right, the vocabulary that you want to test on appears again, student can guess. That means that they can use questions to help them answer the question. So make sure that all the items are independent and separate. บางครั้งเราสร้างเทสใช่ไหมฮะข้อนี้ถามคำศัพท์ตัวนี้ลงมาอีกสัก3ข้อข้างล่างก็คำศัพท์ตัวนี้ไปโผล่ in the stem, so the student then can know the answer maybe from the following item, and then they can go back and answer an earlier item. Okay? And be sensitive to cultural and gender issues. Okay, so do not offend the examinees. Okay, in terms of cultural and gender backgrounds. So there are two major types, of question. Usually we have the question form, or we may have the completion form. Okay, when we prepare the STEM, right? And again, the last one, avoid window dressing or excessive verbiage in the STEM. Don't write the STEM too long. Okay, don't prepare the STEM which is too long. Okay. And avoid giving clues like the linking the item, the STEM, okay, to the answer. Like, when you have something like is an example of and, if you keep and in the STEM, then the student know that then some student will be able to guess that the following word will start with a vowel, something like that. Okay, you have something like this sometime. So what should we do when we want to check the students' understanding of a word, and then it might be a noun here, right? It would be a noun. So if you have a or an, when you put what? You have slash, right? A slash n, or a in brackets n, for example. Okay, just to allow possibility. Don't, right? Sometimes when we do it fast, okay, you have and here, and then the answer will be more obvious, right? So test-wise, students will know the correct answer should start with 5, right? You don't underestimate your students' ability, right? They are test-wise because they have taken a lot of tests before. Okay. In terms of development rules, okay, keep all the options homogeneous in content and form. If you have the nouns, all of them should be in the noun forms, or noun phrases, or verbs, all of them should be in the verb forms. Okay, do not use different parts of speech or different forms. Keep the length of the options fairly consistent. Okay, and the last point here in red, distractors that are not chosen by any examinee should be replaced. So after the test, when you do the reliability check, okay, if there's a distractor which was not chosen at all, that should be replaced. Okay, this could be done after the piloting or after the retest. Okay, when you check the reliability. So that means the student know that that's not the correct answer, right? So you should change, modify, or revise the distractor ใช่ไหมฮะคือถ้าข้อไหนไม่มีเด็กเลือกเลยแสดงว่ามันต้องมีอะไรบางอย่างที่ปกติละง่ายไปมันไม่เกี่ยวเลยอะไรอย่างเงี้ยเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าเราเก็บเป็น test bank ใช่ไหมฮะอันนี้ก็ควรจะต้องถูกเปลี่ยนไป Okay, are you developing a test bank here? Or you have to prepare new tests all the time? All the time. Why all the time? That's part of your work with. Even though you're not trained. I see. But you have the same syllabus, the same material. Okay, maybe you enjoy preparing tests. You love preparing tests. That's good. But then good tests should be kept, all right, in the bank for future use. Okay. Okay, that's not much here. The last one is quite interesting. Do not use humor when developing options. Sometimes you just want to make it funny, right? But that might not work in the test. But you don't do that. These are some examples. They're not on your handouts there, right? Look at this, the first example. This is a real test. I will not tell you where it comes from. Okay, not from here anyway, right? Our school is on. What do you think is the purpose? What's the objective of this item? Singing, building, the floor your left. This is quite strange, right? What is the main purpose of what's the answer? You know the answer? On your left. Why do you know? Why do you know the answer? On. Actually, on can be followed by, can we say on